Hi guys, this is the Gift of Moody. Today is September 26th, 2024, and today is a sad day. As any basketball head knows, or anyone who watches basketball or a big Bulls fan, or if you live in Chicago, you know Derrick Rose just retired. And it's sad to hear it because Derrick Rose, you know, career was ended pretty early. He retired. He didn't retire early, but his best years were gone. He peaked pretty early. He As soon as that first torn ACL, he was not the same player back in 2012. And you know what I have to say about Derrick Rose, I'm not gonna go too deep about his career or anything because this is more of a reaction towards it. I'm sad that he had to retire like this. He retired, being waived by Memphis, and I'm sure that's because was waived by Memphis because he wanted to retire. But he never really played for a championship team after the Chicago Bulls. He had that small stint 1 year in New York, left right away. He played then again. He played in Cleveland for that year and a half, or sorry, that half the year. Got waived by Utah after a trade, and then signed with Minnesota. The year after, he had a little resurgence with Minnesota, scoring that 50-point game. Then going to Detroit, and then New York, and Memphis, and you know, I became a basketball fan in 2010. Ironically, was his MVP season, and I remember going in thinking the Bulls would be the fourth or fifth seed, and Derrick Rose was going to be, an all-star, but nothing crazy. I even laughed when he said that, like, "Oh, I'm going to be MVP this season." I'm like, why couldn't he be MVP? I remember he saying that. I'm just like, well, Derrick Rose, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Dwight Howard are all better than you. Why would all these players be better than you? I even thought Rajon Rondo was better than him. And little was I, did I know that interview probably sparked a fire in him. The Bulls started 9-8 and ended November, and after that we ended up 62-20. And I remember just saying, this is crazy. And throughout the year, he's just getting better and better, and winning MVP at the age of 20 or 22. It gave Bulls fans hope. Belief. We had some good years after the Jordan years. It wasn't all bad, after like 2003, 2004 season, we were making the playoffs consistently. We traded Eddie Curry for a few draft picks too against with the Knicks, and we got some. It was a steal for us. We made some mistakes, but we got some good picks from out of it. And in 2008, we ended up drafting Derrick Rose with a 1.7% chance of getting Derrick Rose. And let's see I can't believe how lucky we were. Who can say that they got their home? Besides Cleveland, the Cavaliers got it. I mean, with LeBron James, their hometown player, Derrick Rose was our hometown guy, and we got him, and he gave us hope. For those years, from 2010 to 2016, we thought we were a championship team. Obviously, it ended shorter. The management did trade him, and when they did trade him, it was very sad. I remember seeing the video of him crying, and I knew the Bulls needed to do it back then. I didn't want to believe it, but I knew they had to. We needed to start over with Jimmy Butler, and we ended up making a mistake anyway with Jimmy Butler. But he was our only offensive threat for the longest time, and it just feels like, wow, he was our number one guy, and it's hard to get players like that in any sport. I mean, even for the Bears, we've been drafting QBs for so long. We finally got Caleb Williams. The offense still sucks, but it's not because of him. It's just because the team around him is not able to support him yet. And Derrick Rose didn't have any offensive help really. Luol Deng was okay. Carlos Boozer wasn't the best fit, and he just wasn't great. Noah wasn't always the best offensive player. That starting lineup had Keith Bogans in there, and no disrespect to him, but he wasn't a great offensive player. He was an okay shooter. He was a great defender, though. That's the thing. He was really great at defense. And we add Richard Hamilton, and as soon as we add Richard Hamilton, he's super healthy. But as soon as we're healthy for the playoffs, the main piece got hurt, and it was just like, and we never recovered from that. Even when we got Jimmy Butler, we drafted him, and he eventually becomes really good. And we signed Pau Gasol. Derrick Rose was never the same player, and it's crazy to think that at a young age he peaked so early, and people are gonna look at his career and just say, "Oh, this wasn't anything special." And you can look at stats and look at numbers and say, look at the years. If you weren't there to experience or to watch what happened, if you were a basketball fan, even if you were a Bulls fan, maybe you even hated the Bulls, that you hated Derrick Rose. When you watched him, you knew what he was. He was great. He was greatness. He was easily a top 6 player. So I think top 5. Some people argue top 6 because they argue Chris Paul's better. But like straight up, at 22 years old, he's a top 6 player in most eyes. He's the youngest MVP. And with Derrick Rose, you know, being already a top 5 player, he had no real help on offensive. You know, defense. They must be the greatest team, one of the greater teams in that generation, one of the greatest defensive teams. But like, he had no help, and he oftentimes was by himself. And it's crazy to think that someone as young as him could be able to lead offensively through double teams, through triple teams, and eventually just catch up. You can't win with one player in the NBA. Michael Jordan couldn't do it. LeBron James couldn't do it. Kobe Bryant couldn't do it. But he was on that level, and we felt that, and it was taken away so early. And like I said, if you weren't there to experience it, you could just easily write this off like, oh, he was like, And I wasn't there to experience Tracy McGrady or Grant Hill. They're a little older than me before their knee injuries, and I mean, they all peaked so early, and Derrick Rose would be part of that. But I wish Derrick Rose had a slightly longer career. I wish he was able to play for a championship longer. That MVP season is probably one of the best seasons for a lot of NBA players' history. Throughout NBA history, that's probably one of the better NBA MVP seasons. You can't take it away from anyone. Him. Do we want more for Derrick Rose? Yes. But easily, he is one of the best Bulls players that we ever had. And, people can say that's sad. That's up to management. Our management sucks. We know that. And they got lucky they got Derrick Rose. But he is one of the best Bulls players that we ever had. And for sure, one of the better stories we ever had. I remember him coming back from an injury, and I remember the commercial with a rose like growing through the crack or something. I can't on the sidewalk. I just couldn't remember the exact story commercial, but it was beautiful the way it's done. And I still wish throughout, even if he was the same player, I wish he still played for the Bulls for his last year and just. His number is going to be retired from Chicago. No one else could really wear one. No one has ever wore one since. So he's probably for sure going to have his number retired. And, yeah, I mean, I'm sad, but I'm also happy that he's still able to enjoy his life with his family. There's one point, I mean, people were saying he was depressed. And, like, I remember there was someone said, like, told Derrick Rose, like, you're the man. He's like, I'm not the man anymore. And it's just like, that broke my heart because, like, he's still the man. If I saw him in person, like, dude, like, you made me start playing basketball a lot. You made me watch more basketball. Whether that was even a year or two, you affected so many people's lives in Chicago. You will always be number one for the Chicago Bulls. No one could take that away from you. You are, you were one of the first explosive point guards we ever had. So small and explosive, we believed that we could have won a championship with you. The knees gave up, but we never did as a fans. And I don't know if you ever watched this video, but thank you for existing. And like I said, guys, this isn't a super deep, detailed video about Derrick Rose's career and his past, but this is for respect and thank you, Derrick Rose. And so I do plan to take a deeper dive in Derrick Rose's career eventually. I'm going to plan to make a video for that. But like I said, thank you, Derrick Rose. Your number will be retired from the Bulls. And, yeah, have a great day, guys.